Chairman, for allowing me to make a contribution in this debate. My maths is not great, but I've just worked out how long I've got to speak, and I can assure other honourable members I won't be taking up all that time. So I want to speak for a brief a brief few moments about Charnwood Neighbourhood Housing, which is the arm's length management organisation in my borough, or part of the borough. I represent the Loughborough constituency, which is part of the borough of Charnwood. And I would entirely agree with the comments of the last speaker, the Honourable Member for Islington North, in terms of the work that's done by the staff in these organisations. I did recognise the computer says no attitude that has sometimes prevailed when I've asked for help with a particular query, but overall I would like to say that the housing staff in the Charnwood Borough Council offices and also in Charnwood Neighbourhood Housing have always been helpful, responsive and done whatever they can to assist with tenants and with queries that I've had both before my election and since my election. Charnwood Borough Council has a retained housing stock of just under 6,000 units, and the council bid for funding in round 6 of the ALMO programme and had been awarded a minimum of £36 million to invest in stock improvements subject to getting that 2-star rating by the Audit Commission. At the last inspection of February 2010, Charnwood had achieved a 1-star rating with uncertain prospects for improvement. And as I said in my intervention, that was despite an awful lot of work that had been done previously. As I say, before that, they were a 0-star organisation and has still been working very hard, but clearly something was not working and management was not as it should have been. They have carried on working very hard on this improvement programme since autumn 2011 and now have a new chief executive in place who I've met and I know that she's working extremely hard. But as I said in my intervention, and I've heard both sides of the debate this afternoon, I'm sure there are lots of lessons that can be learnt from those organisations that have got their 2 stars. But the difficulty is that for those who haven't, and I would entirely agree with the Minister's statement that he said in November when he talked about the fact that actually for organisations where they haven't got their 2-star rating, it is the tenants that lose out because they've got little control over the star rating of their landlord, but they don't get decent homes as a result of that. And also, 2-star rating is not in itself a guarantee of ability to run a capital programme or to offer good value for money. I don't think there's any easy answers in this, but I think overall what I'm hearing from all sides of the Chamber this afternoon is that actually we all believe in the importance of housing in terms of the quality of lives and the fact that obviously there are people living in non-decent houses and that cannot, if at all possible, be allowed to continue. In Charnwood's case, there is 34.7% of their stock was non-decent as at April last year. And I think the point's already made that the longer this debate goes on, houses are slipping back into non-decency. And I think we all appreciate that. I think the report is obviously extremely valuable. I may have been wrong, but there were 2 particular issues I wanted to bring to the Minister's attention, which I don't think were mentioned in the opening remarks, but I might have not been concentrating properly. These are points that have made to me by my ALMO. The first is that additional investment may be required in particular types of stock. As Charnwood, for example, has non-traditional PRC housing, which requires greater investment levels, and also a high number of sheltered housing schemes which are no longer fit for purpose and house some of our most vulnerable tenants. And Charnwood is also a rural community. I hear entirely, having been the candidate in Islington South back in the 2001 general election, I do know the problems of London, but I don't represent a London constituency. I represent a rural or semi-rural constituency. And we've got a growing elderly population, and demand for adaptations is consistently high. And that may not fall within decent homes funding, but it still needs to be paid for in order to, particularly if we're asking people to live in their houses for longer and to remain independent for as long as possible. I did, however, notice from the opening remarks, and I think I would agree, that there doesn't appear to be funding available for estate upgrades or environmental improvements, which would enable opportunities for designing out crime and supporting reductions in antisocial behaviour. In their response, the joint response of the Borough Council and the ALMO to the backlog funding proposals, the position of the spending review and the difficulty with public finances is noted, and they do say both chief executives that they will respond positively to any changes that are thought necessary by central government to assist in the recovery of the economy. And they want to, they appreciate the impact it's going to have on local authorities of less money being available, but they want to rise to the challenge in what they call a constructive and creative way. And I pay tribute to them for that sort of rather entrepreneurial spirit. Finally, I just wanted to say I think that the chief executives believe that the Decent Homes Funding, they can still deliver a Decent Homes investment programme that achieves value for money. And I think we've all talked about the importance of decent homes and funding, and the importance of funding for those. But we do need some money, and we need that to improve the quality of life for tenants across the borough of Charnwood, and to assist the government in delivering its strategic and financial objectives in doing so. I welcome the government's commitment to funding and to filling the gap in the backlog for those homes that have not yet reached decent standard, those authorities that have not yet, or organisations that haven't yet reached two-star status. I also welcome the fact that, and I entirely understand that looking forward, we've got to end up with organisations having a sustainable self-financing business plan, which is very important. But the point I would make in conclusion is the point I made in my intervention, which is because of having to wait for the two-star status, as a result, my Almo has not been able to put a bid in. They're now in round 6, which obviously, and there is less money available because of the state of the economy we're left and the public finances. But I know that they would appreciate a decision sooner rather than later so they can get on with starting to raise standards for the tenants in the borough of Charnwood. I look forward to hearing the Minister's response on that.